Welcome back, my friends, to part two. What do you think? Coming on quite nice, isn't it? I'm going to finish part two, finish all of this lovely water drops and put a couple of extra in just around it, just to balance the painting out. But overall, I'm quite happy with this. I think it's coming on quite nice. So let's crack on. Let's finish this painting, and I hope you're enjoying it. Something different, I know. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but nonetheless, let's just try it. Something different, something to open up your mind a little bit. All right. Thank you for joining me. I'll be right back. Right, let's go. Let's do this. Let's have a bit of fun with this. Now, I'm going to take, let me find a nice brush here. Right, I'm going to go with nice medium stubby brush, a nice flat, medium flat brush. There's the photograph. I've zoomed in on just that one, okay? Lots of orange in this. So I'm going to make a nice dark orange for that. Let's dampen our brushes. Let's take some cadmium red, and let's take a hint of cadmium yellow. The yellow's quite hard at the moment because it's so cold. Very cold outside, isn't it? Very, very, very cold. Well, where I am anyway, it's very, very cold. Now, I'm going to take some of that orange, and I'm going to go up around the back of that. I'm not too worried about getting the edge right because we have black behind this. You see what I mean? Now, you see the way that's very opaque, or not very, it's very translucent. It's not covering. I can see the brush, you see? I can see all the lines underneath and all that. What we want to thicken this up. So the best way to thicken that up is just to take some more of your color. Okay, red and yellow, because they're very translucent colors. And then we'll add a little Naples yellow to that. The Naples yellow, as I said earlier, will thicken the paint up and help it cover much, much nicer. I'm going to put a hint of sienna into this as well. It's kind of an orangey brown sort of a colour. There's even a hint of pink in this as well. I'll go with this for now though. Look, let's just try this. So that covers much nicer now, doesn't it? Okay, I'm just going to go around like that for now. All right out. I want to make them nice and big. I don't want to make the water drops too small, if you understand what I mean. I'm going to clean that. I'm then going to take some magenta into that mix with some Naples yellow. And I'm then going to start putting some of this in. All the while I'm making the curve, okay? All the time I'm doing this, I'm making a curve with my brush. Magenta, Naples yellow, and a hint of phthalo blue. That gives us this wonderful sort of mauvey colour. And you see that then will mix nicely with that orangey colour. It won't go mucky or anything like that, or muddy. It will mix just nicely into it. If I put a blue or a purple against this orange, it would go very muddy, very kind of greeny in colour. So that's why I always put a hint of that pink. I know I keep saying it, but a little tiny hint of pink will make all the difference if we're going from a yellow to a blue or an orange to a blue. Okay, it will make a huge difference, I promise. Now don't worry about your brush strokes, we can soften those up with a soft brush later. All right. Next, I'm just going to bring some of that pinky colour on down along the side here, okay? Because there's little touches of that going through the black as well. So, clean the brush again. I'm going to use the same brush because it's a nice brush. I like using these nice flat chisel edge brushes. They're lovely. I'm going to start making a nice bluey colour. Some phthalo blue and some white. And a little touch of magenta. That touch of magenta really helps. You could also use cadmium red actually if you wanted. But I think the magenta would just be a little bit nicer and easier to work with. Okay, now, as I'm going into that pinky colour, I'm going to just pink it up ever so slightly. See? Just make it that little touch more pink. And bring it over. The idea is just to kind of merge the colours together in a nice way, okay? you don't want completely separate lines in your colour, if you understand what I mean. You just want to sort of merge it in nicely. Creating a little curve just like that, you see. Now, as it comes over, maybe a hint of cadmium red. Just over here. Softening it upwards ever so gently. Now, clean the brush. And I'm going to go a nice rich blue, okay? Nice rich dark blue. So, phthalo blue and a little magenta. I'm going to come down here with this blue, nice rich blue. Now, if you find the blue is too rich, let's just take a hint of cadmium red, perhaps. Hint of white. That will tone it down a little, you see. Just tones it down just enough. There we go. And again, following the curve of the raindrop, the water drop, just following that curvature all the time. A little bit of white just on the brush. Just go down and around. Okay, so I'm beginning to see the idea. It's all about just kind of blending colours together. That's all it is. Blend, blend, blend. Now I'm going to darken the orange slightly first before I continue on. I just want to darken that slightly. So I'm going to take some cadmium red, burnt sienna, and a little cadmium yellow. And I simply just want to darken. In fact, I'll take a hint of magenta as well. So any reds with magenta will look lovely. I just want to darken this just slightly up the top. And I think I need more magenta. That hint of pink, you see, will bounce around on the canvas. I know you probably don't notice it right now, but it will kind of bounce around between the background and the front. It will really help. Okay, I'll stop at that. Clean my brush very well. I'm going to start going into some nice darker blues. Let's take phthalo blue, some magenta, and a hint of black. And I'm going much thicker now with my colour as well, okay? Much, much thicker, very thick. I'm going to start putting this very dark colour just along the bottom. And I'm going to soften it upwards, even just phthalo blue on its own. Because I want this one to really stand out, okay? You can see it has little touches of a very dark phthalo blue kind of popping through here and there. Okay, I can see a bit over there, and there's a little touch of it here. So I just want to really make this pop. I want it to really bounce off of the canvas. So now, the next thing I'm going to do is take my soft fan brush, my very soft brush, and I'm just going to start softening these, following the circle, okay? I'll then pull it in. And let's just soften everything around in a kind of a circle, circular motion. Then these blues, soften them up. I'm going to soften them out. You could use a slightly harder brush for this as well now if you want, okay? If you find this kind of soft fan brush is not pulling the paint as much as you need, just grab a slightly firmer brush. I think that's not bad. Okay, let me stand back now and take a look at this. So, I know that kind of stands out now very flat, but when we do the next stage, you're going to see what happens. I'm going to show you. Now let me just get a nice little brush. I'm looking for a particular brush which I had earlier. Ah, there it is. Nice little small flat brush. Okay. I'm going to take some black. And I'm also going to take some cadmium red. Because a blacky brown sort of a hue, even some sienna, will act as the dark orange, the really blacky orange behind all of this, okay? That's the idea. Let's try it and see. So we have a nice flat edge on the brush now. We start over here, and it gets thicker as it comes around, doesn't it? Then we're going to come right down like this. And the trick also with when doing this is you can see it sort of softens into the orangey color very slightly, doesn't it? So I'm just going to add a nice bit of thinners just while I put on the initial black first, okay? Just to get it to run nice and smoothly off of the brush. But definitely do try this MDF. It's fantastic stuff to paint on. And you can see it really does make a difference when you're painting something like this. I think it does anyway. I think it makes a huge difference. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to come down and put some of that color. Just in and around here, like that. Okay. And it comes down almost to a point there. Again, just look at the photograph and you're just copying the photograph. That's all it is. Okay. Just copy where you see the lines. Wherever you see them, just put the color there. Now, as this comes into the orange color, I'm going to start making it a bit more red. So let me take some cadmium red, burnt sienna, and a little magenta, going almost like a browny color. Okay, I hope you understand what I mean now, because I want to soften this in. It goes a kind of an orangey, there's an orangey hue going on in there. It's basically just reflecting that orange behind the water drop. So it's about just transferring colours. Transferring colours around. Okay, now we're getting there. I'm going to clean my brush and we see a bit of blue down here, don't we? A nice bit of blue. Let's mix a nice rich blue for this, my friends. I'll get cerulean blue and a little white. Let me just try this for a moment. I always put on a piece initially like this to judge. And if I don't like it, you can always change it. It's easy to change. And you can see as well, I'm kind of really using quite thick paint. My paint is not very thin. I'm literally picking up little touches of paint off my palette. Okay, stop there. Then you can see we have a little bit of a darker color, just coming down one side, little touches of dark, you see that? Like so. And I think now I'm going to switch to maybe a smaller brush. Let's go with a small round brush. I'm really enjoying this. This is coming on very nice, surprisingly nice. I didn't think it would look this good, to be quite honest. I was slightly apprehensive at the beginning because I was thinking to myself, what if I mess this up now and all that kind of stuff. So I was slightly apprehensive. A little bit of white there. I don't know, it's like a little squiggle of colour, isn't it? Like that. Just look at what you can see, just copy it as best you can. Now a little bright highlight there, and it almost comes right down, doesn't it? But I'm softening it. You see that? Just simply soften it. Like so. Then some bright white. I'm going to go around this corner with some bright white. And it's just paint, okay? No thinners in this. And when you put on these highlights, you suddenly see the drop of water almost jump off of the canvas, don't you? It's amazing. It's amazing what a little highlight will do. Just one highlight. And I'm going to soften that now continuously. I'm going to go to a point. As you can see, it just goes to a point and disappears, doesn't it? Comes down like that. We have a nice bright colour down in the end, like that. Now I'm going to put a very big glow. I can see a lovely glow just there by that white. I don't know if you can spot that on the photograph or not. There's a very bright glow, it's beautiful. I'm going to take some cerulean blue and white. Maybe a hint of phaylo as well while we're here. But lots of white. It's a very, very bright blue, isn't it? And it just sort of disappears as it comes in. It's a very, it's just a beautiful colour. Then some phaylo blue as it comes in. So you can see a lot of this was sort of the underpainting, the first stages, and I'm kind of slowly then just adding little bits to it as we go. Slowly but surely, that's all, slowly but surely. Take a little bit of that darker orange. I'm going to go over here and put a little dark, you see that lovely dark orange just in the corner there? Soften all of this out. I'm then going to take some Naples yellow and a little of this orange, this orangey colour. I just want to add a little highlight to that, just around there, okay? Again, I'm just looking at the photograph, and wherever you see slightly lighter colours, just add a little light in there. Just add a tiny bit in. Now I need to soften all of this together. I'm using a slightly harder bristle brush just to ensure that it mixes nicely together and it goes nice and soft, okay? And down here as well. We basically want to soften everything all together all around the raindrop, okay? Drop of water. Want it all nice and soft, merging together. Let's put it all together. Okay, I'm going to stop and take a look. I'll leave it at that. Let's continue on with our nice highlights and our darks and all that kind of stuff. Let's go with some whitey blue. And again, I'm just going to go over here. Then I take some white. Again, come down here with some white. And we have a lovely You're sort of creating the swirls in the water drop itself, you know what I mean? You're creating the texture of the water and the highlights moving around on the surface. So for example, look, we have a lovely square one here, don't we? It's like a slightly bent square, isn't it? We have another one up here. They're almost reflections of windows, I think. This one will go the opposite way. Okay. And just to create a tiny little bit of a halo around those, I'm going to use a little bit of a lighter colour. Just there. And I'm going to use that same colour for just here. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do with this is take a little bit of light blue, and we have a lovely light blue going across like this. Okay, and I'm going to do the same down here. Soften it out. Then, very importantly, the next step, I am going to soften them upwards with this little brush. Okay, I'm going to just catch some of this brush and I'm going to pull them down. Okay, you can see as if they're softening outwards. I'll do the same with this one very carefully. I should have had a smaller brush really, shouldn't I? But what harm? That just takes the edge off, you see what I mean? Just like that. Okay. And I'm going to put a tiny, tiny little box around these. And a little bit just around this. It's all about capturing light. That's all it is. Down here, there's a nice little one. It's coming along like that. Now, we have a very bright, strong white down here. Really bright. So I'm just going to pop that in like so. And we have another one up here. And then we have slightly warmer ones over on the right hand side, don't we? I'll take some Naples yellow and a little reddy colour. Okay. And over here you can see there is like that. Okay. We have a nice warm colour down here. I'm actually going to take some burnt sienna, add a touch of burnt sienna in just down there, okay? I'm going to put a little touch of burnt sienna around these. It'll make sense when it's finished, I promise. Now, I also need to make this one a little wider. All right. Then I'm simply going to start putting in some bright white highlights all around, like so. The next thing I'm going to do is start putting in some very, very rich darks. Let's get black, pure black on its own. And let's go really dark with some of these. I hope you're enjoying this so far. I'm going to put in an extra couple of small ones as well, just to balance out the painting. I think they need some small ones. The painting rather. I think it does, just to balance it out slightly. Now, I'm going to come over here and tidy this up. Just want to tidy all this side up here. And along the side here. Again, plenty of turpentine, don't be shy with the turpentine. And you can just pause your video, follow me along in little stages, okay, bit by bit. You take your time, there's no rush whatsoever. Now I'm going to put a little bit of black just there, and then I'm just going to soften that out with the tip of my finger. I think might be easier, like so. Is that better? Now I am going to stand back and take a quick look. That's not bad at all, my friends. I'm going to pop in a couple of small ones. Okay, let's just go for it. Put in a couple of small ones here and there. Let's finish this off with a nice little one just here. You could, if you want, look, just paint them blue like this. Paint them all blue. Bit of white. Hop a little bit of white around. And be sure to try different sizes. Yeah, don't be afraid. Try different sizes. You could, for example, if I take some red, we'll make some nice orangey ones for down here. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you what I mean. So if you take some red, take some cadmium yellow, pop some nice orangey ones in. Little touch of magenta, I think, just as a darker shade. Pop a little bit of that through here. And then, show you what I do next. Take some black and just simply, now can you see this? You can. Let's take some black, tip of our brush, and I'm just looking at the photograph and looking where are the dark lines popping in. Okay. And this is just early stages again. We'll be working on all of these. Okay. Just remember, a little bit at a time. Then I'll take some white. I'm going to just pop little highlights. Onto these. Now you can use a pointier brush if you like. This is probably the most pointy brush I have. So it'll just have to do for now. But you sort of get the idea. So I'll pop my phone back on here. And I'll pop little points of light. Now I'll come back to those in a moment, okay? I just want to come up here and pop in another one or two. Just to balance the painting a little bit, I want to pop in another one or two. Okay, and then take some black. Like so. It's simply putting a mix of all the colors that we used into these. Do you understand what I mean? Just putting a little mix of all those colors here and there into each one. And you can take your time with this at home. I'm just rushing because I'm just conscious of time. Okay? That's all. I'm just kind of in a hurry. Which is the wrong way to do it, isn't it? But you get the idea. So basically, if you can paint one, you can paint them all. Isn't that right? Because they're all just the same technique. The very, very same technique for each one. Just remember that. And I suppose I'll just add a little bit of darker color into this. Okay. And let's have a look. Let's have a look and see what we think. I think one or two more. But look, I'm going to carry on working here now for a while. You can kind of see what I was trying to achieve, and you can see the process. That's basically all you do, okay? That's simply all you do. It's just take your time, put in a light and a dark, blend them together, and just more importantly, have some fun when you're doing it. Okay, that's the most important thing. Fun, fun, fun. I always say you have to enjoy it, because if you're not enjoying it, there's no point, is there? You have to enjoy what you're doing. Take a little bit of that color there, put that in here. And put a little bit of that in here. And there we go, my friends. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you've learned a little bit, or at the very least, had some fun watching me paint. I'll zoom in for you, but I will add one or two more, I think, just to add something to the painting, okay? I think in general, I'm fairly happy with this. Try it, just try it please. Keep it simple, okay? Just keep it simple. Anyhow, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoy painting this, it's something different. I'll continue on, paint one or two more, maybe a couple of small tiny ones or something like that. But in general, I'm very, very happy. It'll make a nice wall art, I think, for someone's wall, don't you think? Thank you, and I'll see you next week for another painting. A landscape, perhaps. In the meantime, have fun. Try not to complicate it too much. Just work in steps, just one step at a time. Don't try and rush all the way to the very end step, okay? Because you'll become flustered and you'll become agitated. Just take your time, start from the start. If you want to leave it for a couple of hours and go back to it, do. But just take your time and try to enjoy it. I'll see you again very soon. This is Easy Oil Painting signing out. God bless you all, my friends.